Greetings, 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 ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. This is Kenya Revolutionary. I hope you're doing well wherever you are. For this another session, I just want to talk about a couple of things and raise a couple of questions. And this all surrounds the whole situation behind Raila Odinga intentionally verbalizing his dream of becoming an AU chairman, his intention of becoming one. Okay. We saw the press conference between him and not between him and Olesegun, I think, the former Nigerian president, when they actually, before Raila actually made it known that he wants that position. And he, in his speech, he actually announced and said, wazi at Yam actually want this position. But what caught my attention, and I didn't listen Olesegun's part of the speech, but today I did go about it just to listen to what he had to say, and revealed that this ploy to make Raila Odinga become the next AU chairman was actually conjured up in a meeting in Mombasa. Remember when we were told that Ruto, Raila, and Suluhu had met in Mombasa, and at attendance, Joho and Junet Mohammed was also present. But, those were kind of rumors and people didn't actually believe them. But, we just heard it was rumors and nobody could confirm it. Then Maina Njenga, in his interview with Jeff Koinange, came up and called and say, hey, listen, Raila, he was in a meeting with the Ruto, I guess, and he had to call off the Mandamano. Remember that? But still, people didn't believe that these two gentlemen actually had met secretly in Mombasa. So yesterday, hi, good year. Nice to see you. Kama kawaida. Ako ndani. Thank you very much, Miss Goodyear, Miss Goodyear. Yes. So this confirms that actually Raila Odinga actually met Suluhu, and Olesegun was in attendance, obviously, because he said so, and met Ruto in Mombasa, which means these guys were meeting in secret while the Wananchi was still, tulikuwa tunagombana or whatever the case was, which, it kind of shows us when Miguna was telling us that Raila was already paid, handshake ilishafanyika, we never really paid attention. We were just saying, oh, that's Miguna just, being Miguna, talking smack about Raila Odinga. But this is actually coming into a realization. We are actually seeing what's happening. And he actually posted something that in his page about being a con man and all that stuff. I'll read it later. But I want to start playing by playing Olesegun's speech, part of the speech before Raila Odinga actually announced his intention for the position of African Union chairperson position. Okay, so let's listen to this speech. And if you're watching this, please go ahead and like. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Okay. All right. Let's start with this video so we can actually chambua this video before we go on. All right. Let me play it so we can chambua it. Namna gani? All right. Let's see here. All right. Micro meeting. Yes. Hold on. All right, let me see here. All right.
Because we get the wrong end of the stick all the time. So what can we do? I believe that one instrument that we have in Africa that we can use to our advantage at the local level, at the national level, at the continental level is our continental organization, the AU. And the AU, if it will serve the purpose that is meant to serve, it requires the right person at the right time. And this is a time that we in Africa and working with the rest of the world, we need to get AU to be what it should be. They are doing what they can do because AU got me and two with sister and a brother to look at the situation of Tigray and the federal government of Ethiopia. But there's a lot more that is wrong with Africa today. My own part of the continent, West Africa, is riddled with government that had not come through constitutional means, is riddled with insecurity, is riddled with poverty, unemployment, and you can say similar thing even for this part of Africa. So if in less than a year there should be a change of button at the AU level, maybe some of us should take it upon ourselves to assist our incumbent leaders to make sure that we look and search and advise. And so part of my visit was really three. One,
Sorry about this, the commercial. We shall deal with it right now. Okay, back to it.
brother Raila is a friend of many, many years. What year did we go to Kasumu?
Kasumu.
Kisumu for the final funeral of
It's getting there, ladies and gentlemen. He'll mention the new
1995. And when I came back and went back to Nigeria, I was charged with treason. Treason not only because they say I wanted to topple the government of Nigeria, but also because I came here because I want to topple the government of Kenya, because I went for the funeral rite of the leader of opposition. Now that's as far back as we have been friends and now have been friends of the family and particularly of Raila. So consulting, searching, what can we do? And consulting. Second thing is that not too long ago, I was here with the President of the Republic, President Ruto, and Raila. And we went to Mombasa. Yes. We went to Mombasa, and the outcome of that exercise was
did you hear that?
5 each from the two parties to form a committee. And I understand that committee have done
All right. So you heard that. He actually mentioned there that not too long ago, these two gentlemen, Raila Odinga and Olesegun and Ruto, met at Mombasa. So you heard that? Olesegun amesema hapo. Do you want me to play it again? You can go replay it at your own time. I don't want to bore you with a long speech. But I just wanted to highlight that place, that part when he said, not too long ago, we met. I met President Ruto, and with him and Raila Odinga in Mombasa, where they chose I don't know, 5 and 5 at here. Karibu sana bwana Brian. So nice seeing you. Nice seeing you. So it seems like this meeting had already taken place. I mean, these guys already were talking behind the curtain, okay? Even though people, in the news, we, the wananchi, were at the back, we were kind of trying to figure out what's going on. Ruto and Raila are still going at it, or whatever. They're following their followers, actually arguing here and there. Oh, this and that. Kumbe, watu walikuwa wanaongea. So there was discussions behind the scene. So this is a perfect illustration of what happens. We have to be careful as people who follow these political leaders. This plan had been hatched long time ago. Now, later on, I will break down. I want to actually break down this position of AU, the history of AU, and what exactly does it mean, the implications of it. If Raila gets to succeed, will that mean actually Raila Odinga officially leaving local politics? Because I think the position he's going for, I don't know if it's the AU chairperson or the AUC, whatever, which is actually different. It's a commissioner. One of it, if I'm not wrong, is a 4-year term. Now, if it's a 4-year term, that kind of leaves Raila out of it, because there's no way Raila can be an AU chairperson or whatever the case is, commissioner, and still be actively, politically active in Kenya. For example, it will be unbecoming for Raila Odinga as an AU chairperson to lead a maandamano in Uhuru Park. That's an example of what I'm talking about. So basically, that will actually get him out of politics officially. I mentioned this, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I want to emphasize again in my last video. All this happened for a reason. Joho knew about it, or had a hint, a whiff about this AU position or this talks with Ruto. And Martha Karua probably did know about it. That's why she's been very quiet. And I saw her today actually join in a press conference with the Azimio folks, Kalonzo Musyoka and Eugene Wamalwa, making it clear that they support Raila's bid for the AU position. Now, this is what I was saying. This was part of a Raila's exit strategy or option, fourth option. I said it before. Raila was in a tough place. It was damn if you do, damn if he doesn't, damn if you don't. What do I mean by that? If Raila was to, because I started by this, the general consensus, the general perception, the general feeling among the Azimio fraternity, or even in public for those who are independents. Of course, Kenya Kwanza can care less who's running for president in 2027, okay? That's not really their problem. They're waiting for who it will be. They were suspecting maybe it will be Raila again, but that's not something that they will lose sleep over until then. But for the general public, wananchi, for the with people within the Azimio fraternity, they felt like Raila has tried 4 times and it was time to give it up to somebody else. Okay? And Raila was very diplomatic in the way he went to. That's why he said, you know what? I will support going through the delegation, the delegates appointing who will be the flag bearer in 2027, because he didn't want to nominate anyone. And I said it. My position was this. My analysis on that matter was this. If Raila was to run, let's say he declares himself a candidate in 2027, Martha Karua and Kalonzo Musyoka would quit, simply because Martha Karua would feel like, hey, I was the second in command last time, so naturally I'm supposed to be the flag bearer. If you step down, then it's me, okay? Kalonzo Musyoka would also step down and feel like, hey, listen, as you had Kilonzo in that Ninio funeral in Ukambani, Kilonzo mentioned, this Kalonzo has been with Raila for how long? I don't know, since NASA, CORD, ODM. He's been a stalwart supporter of Raila Odinga and have deputized that position for a long time. So he will feel like, hey, listen, Last time I had to sit out because I understood Raila Odinga wanted Martha Karua in order to get the Mount Kenya vote and the women vote. And I was skipped for that purpose only. So this time, Raila Odinga, I think it's time, you've promised that, and remember, there was an MOU between Raila Odinga and Kalonzo that in 2027, he will actually patia Kalonzo mkono. But Raila cannot do that because that will alienate Martha Karua. So he has to stay neutral again. So if Raila gives that mkono to Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua will leave, okay? And then comes another right. Then comes another headache, which is Hassan Joho, who pops up in Nairobi and says, in Mombasa and says, after a while, because Hassan Joho has been missing for a while, okay? The last time before he actually showed up in that Ninio in Mombasa, he was actually in the US for a while. He was in Boston, California, everywhere else. But anyway, so here he is. He reappears again in the scene and announces that he's going to be running for president. And actually, speaking of Joho, let's speak. And I've been arguing this. The declaration by Hassan Joho to run for presidency in 2027 was actually an act of defiance in front of Raila Odinga. And it wasn't just me that actually read it that way. Somebody else saw the same thing. I don't know if you guys missed it, but somebody else also saw this. I'll show you who it is. Somebody else felt the same way. Because I was like, why is Hassan Joho so defiant? Like he just, in fact, he said that Baba anafaa kumpatia mkono. Actually, let me play the video so I can contextualize what I'm saying. Let's go and play. Let me play just one more time, because I think most people did not listen to this speech, but I want to play it, and I'll try to make it short so I don't bore you to sleep. But let's listen to Hassan Joho speak. All right, here it is. Hassan Joho, let's go. All right, here it is. Ndio hiyo sasa, mpo ready? Haya,
Ombetsa Oparanya, hata yeye nimemsikia akisema kama ni noma. Zangu wengine wadogo walikuwa pale, wengine wakanambia, bwana, tunataka mwaka ujao wa kura, sijui upiganie kiti gani hapa Mombasa. Ngoja. Mimi nataka niwaambie na munisikize kwa makini, kwa masikio mawili. Siasa za Mombasa nilimaliza nikaenda. Ile kiti nitapigania ni kiti ya urais wa taifa la Kenya. Nataka niwaulize nyinyi, who told you that if you are born in Mombasa, a son of Mombasa cannot be the president of the Republic of Kenya? Who told you? Nani amewambia hivyo nyinyi? Nani amewambia hivyo? Na tena wacha wajipange. Mimi nasikia wengi wanasema tuko kwa debe 2027, tuko kwa debe. Mimi nawaambia hapa mchana, hata mimi Hassan Ali Joho 2027 niko katika debe la urais.
Oh Lord, all right, sorry. Sorry about that. It's a commercial.
Click a button and and get the same.
Isla Kenya. Na waelewa hiyo, kama ni mbaya, na kama ni noma, kama ni mbaya. Na mimi nasema hiyo kwa sababu hata unajua katika ODM party yuko party leader, alafu yuko deputy party leader mimi, yuko deputy party leader mwenzangu Wycliffe Ombetsa Oparanya. Hata yeye nimemsikia akisema anatafuta urais. Nataka nimwambie my brother, kulumbana. Lakini katika chama cha ODM, tumeelewana? Katika chama gani? ODM. Haya, niangalieni tu. Mutakuja Ikulu pale kunitembelea nyinyi, niangalieni hivi. Na siku hiyo ndo tutakula ngoma sana hapo Ikulu hapo. Hiyo yake anayesema gavana huyu etwa nini kamua, tutakamua Ikulu hapo. Tumeelewana? Alafu mimi nimemsikia my brother Abdulsamad here akisema mambo ya na watu wote, nawaambia serikali kuongoza serikali is always progressive. Umeelewana? Pale nilipoachia mimi, yeye amechukua. Na mimi sikuunda, mimi nilichukua kwa Meya Ahmed Abubakar Mohdhar. Nikabeba wafanyikazi wote wa manispaa na mipango yao, nikasonga mbele. Tumeelewana? Wala siwezi kurudi nyuma kusema manispaa ilifanya hivi, manispaa ilifanya vile, because as a leader, when you run for an office, you must be ready kwa hali na mali na usonge wapi mbele. Tumeelewana hivyo? Nimemsikia my brother hapa na I'm sure he'll give you in greater details. Mimi nawaambia ndugu zangu, jipangeni muhesabiwe. Jipangeni mfanye nini? Muhesabiwe. Nyinyi mtaka, hata mimi I entered politics nikiwa kijana mdogo. Nimemunga mkono Raila Amolo Odinga kwa hali na mali, kwa mvua, kwa jua, kwa joto, kwa baridi, kwa dhiki, kwa raha. Mimi niko hapo tu kwa Raila. Sasa mimi si nishamfuata? Sasa huyu si ni baba yetu? Si mpaka nimwambie, baba, niangalie na mimi mwanayo kwa huruma, unienue mkono siku moja useme Hassan Joho tosha. Kuna shida hapo?
All right. That's the part I wanted to hear.
Ama hamtaki nyinyi? Hamtaki? Wale ambao wanasema nipiganie urais wa Kenya wainue mkono niwaone namna hii.
So you see there, like he's basically saying that, hey, Baba, you know, I've been supporting you through thick and thin. So I also feel, isn't it time for you to actually, you know, feel sorry for me and actually, you know, return the favor by, you know, endorsing me, your son, which piles more pressure to Raila Odinga. And I mentioned this to avoid all these pressures from Hassan Joho, Martha Karua, and Kalonzo Musyoka. He can actually use another exit strategy by doing what? Reaching out to President Ruto in some kind of an arrangement. Now, this arrangement seems to be the AU is the exit option that he chooses. Now, like I mentioned, this proclamation by Hassan Joho was some sort of defiance, a show of defiance, saying that, hey, listen, I have also been with Raila Odinga for a long time. I also deserve to be on the debe. Kama ni noma, as you had the man say. Somebody else took issue with that. And I thought it was just me who felt Hassan Joho, that was a weird declaration there, especially doing so in front of Raila. Let's just hear for somebody else. He's not somebody whom you might be familiar with. Let's go ahead and listen to him. All right, give it 1 second. 1 second as I play you that another clip in response to what this man. All right, okay. I know. Let's listen to. All right.
Unamtengea na amekufa, unamtengea serikali vile Museveni. Nitana kwa mada nyingine.
Right there.
Joe, Hassan Joe mahali huko. Joe, tunakuheshimu, lakini kuongea mbele ya Raila yani Joe anaongea mbele ya Raila, atatasimama president 2027 mbele na Raila Odinga. Maybe alikuwa anataka kusimama kwa mesa yake, kwa nyumba yake. Kusimama ni haki yako, unasimama. Unasimama kwa nyumba yako, kwa meza. Amutoke kwa gari usimame. Lakini sio yani mimi kilifanya nikasikia mchungu. Ati Raila Odinga baba. Yani ki ya Kenya, kifungu ya Kenya. Agumu tiringinyi. Kuat. mtu anaongea mbele ya Raila atasimama president. Kwanza Raila Amolo Odinga fukuza Joho aende kabisa. Joho aende. Hiyo ni kitu aibu. Ni kitu aibu. Joho kuambia Raila mbele yake atanasimama. Kama Kalonzo Musyoka hata akisema nataka kusimama president, maybe Raila kwa Nairobi aende aseme kwa nyumba yake, kwa nyumba, hata sio nje, kwa nyumba yake.
Okay,
lakini Joho anaongea mbele ya Raila kwa macho yake.
The point here, and there's actually another angle of that video of Joho when he was declaring to run in 2027. And if you see Raila's face when Joho was declaring that he will be in the debate in 2027, Raila was looking not so happy with what Joho was saying. He was not pleased at all. But the point I'm making in this, I thought it was just me who sensed it. Joho's matamshi ya Joho in that hall, it was a show of defiance in front of Raila, saying, hey, listen, I also deserve to run for presidency. I want to be in the debate. It's my turn. I've supported you through thick and thin. I also want to be in the part of it. Which I felt this is something that maybe Joho should have discussed with Raila nyuma ya tent instead of like in front of the hall, Tonononka Hall, and telling everyone that I also deserve it, mtanipata Ikulu and all that. Because it complicates the whole 2027 race, because Raila ndio huyu akona pressure kwa sababu ya Martha Karua wants to be the kinara wa Azimio, Kalonzo wants to be kinara wa Azimio, Eugene Wamalwa wants to be kinara wa Azimio, Wajakoya will feel like, hey, I had some, I became third in the last presidential election, so I will run for presidency. I can run for Azimio kinara because I brought the votes. And now Joho is standing as the fourth person or fifth person saying, I also want to run for president. This puts pressure on Raila Odinga. That's why Raila Odinga was also wise. He stood up and said, you know what? I will leave it to the delegates. Let the delegates decide to decide who will be the kinara or the Azimio. Because if Raila decides by himself to endorse one of the 4 or 5, whatever, whether it's Martha Karua, Joho, or Musyoka, or Wajakoya, they will leave. They'll be disappointed because all of them will feel betrayed. Maybe Wamalwa will stay and Joho might stay, but Kalonzo definitely will feel betrayed if he's not backed by Raila. Same thing with Martha Karua. If Martha Karua is not Nino, he will feel betrayed. So Raila kind of used the diplomatic way of using the delegates. He'll say the delegates will choose. We shall go and have a delegation voting, and they shall choose from everywhere to see who stands. But as it seems now, the news about, with him running for AU chairperson, now that leaves a vacuum of now who will be the kinara of Azimio? Who will be the kinara of Azimio? As you can see, all those Azimio folks, and I think they were happy, and they were happy to come to this press conference because they felt, phew, Raila now is off. Now, all of us have a chance, an equal chance. Raila, he's a heavyweight, Now, heavyweight akijishatoa. So it will be interesting. Now, everyone feels that they have a chance to run for this position because Raila is out of the way. Ataenda kwa AU. I guarantee you, he'll become the AU chairperson. I'll explain why in a minute. But let me just get to this first. This is why Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua felt so good after they had this news, because they were like, you know what? We'll back that up. That's why you saw him, Martha Karua and everybody else came in and gave the speech to endorse that intention of Raila Odinga pursuit of this chairperson position in Ninium. Because now they feel like everyone has an equal chance. Raila Kalonzo now can go in the streets and Ninium without worrying about Raila taking his votes or whatever, dominating the field within the Azimio coalition, okay? So Kalonzo can be out there, challenging and wooing people votes, whether it's from Mount Kenya, whatever it is, Kisumu. It will be interesting to see them when they go to Kisumu. That's one thing too. So Martha Karua will feel the same way too. She'll feel like, you know what? This is also a great chance for me. I'll go out there to look for votes. And Wamalwa, the same thing. Joho, same thing. So it gives a playing level without Raila in the scene for them to actually try to get these votes. It's just interesting now, especially in places like Luo Nyanza, who will actually be garner more votes from those, the Raila's backyard, so to speak. Who will inherit that? The problem is they'll still face, I don't know. Martha Karua can have the advantage of coming from Rift Valley. Maybe they shall, they'll be like, okay, it's Mama's turn. She's a Kikuyu, of course. So the Kikuyu can maybe, they'll feel like, this is our daughter. She's also been there for a while. I mean, Martha Karua comes a long way since the days of, when she was defying Moi back in the day. So, they might feel some kind of way for her. They'll feel like this is our daughter. Maybe you should give a chance. If you're not going to vote for Ruto, this is the lady that you're going to vote. Now, in Kisumu, are they still going to feel like she's the Akinyi? Remember when Raila gave her that name when she was in Kisumu back then? Okay. So will they accept her in the absence of Raila Odinga? That's the question. Do they feel Martha Karua is the Iron Lady that she was being called? But let's listen. They were out there. They told us like, hey, we are here. We are supporting Raila's bid for the AU chairmanship. If I only can renew that video. They wholeheartedly, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, they wholeheartedly supported that renewal. But let's get to it. Let's get to it. I want you to listen just a little bit. Just a little bit about the press conference that they gave today after the news of Raila Odinga saying that he wants to go. Remember, Raila Odinga has to campaign. And I mentioned yesterday, something that you forget. William Ruto has to recommend Raila Odinga in front of the AU because we are part of the AU. And we as a nation, we are being represented by Ruto, of course, as our president. But for that chair, Ruto has to forward that name of Raila Odinga for him to be considered as one of the participants of that selection process. Okay, so Raila needs William Ruto. Okay, in that sense, Raila needs Ruto. Ruto has to take his name and put it there and say, hey, this is our candidate from our country. We want Raila Odinga to be part of it. The advantage of Raila Odinga, of course, he has Obasanjo who will vouch for him. So maybe he will talk to Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, to actually, consider Raila. Okay. Of course, Nigeria will also floor their own person, but depending on who they will select, if they select their own choice or they vote for Raila, Yoweri Museveni, will put his own name. I don't know if that's the reason why Uhuru Kenyatta was in Uganda, because remember, it is rumored that Uhuru Kenyatta also wanted that position. So that's a huge thing. Is that the reason why Uhuru Kenyatta has been, hanging out with Museveni? Is that the reason why? Suluhu will have a say in it. Of course, Suluhu will vote for Raila because remember, Olesegun alituambia that meeting that happened in Mombasa. Olesegun was present, Ruto was present, Suluhu was present, Joho was present, Junet was present. So it's actually, it goes without saying. And Raila will be flying around Africa trying to get. Raila is also a good friend with the Ramaphosa and the South Africa ANC guys, the older guys. Okay, so that's the advantage he has. Those are the people who are going to be actually part of the vote. So that might be that can play as an advantage to save him and Uhuru Kenyatta were to run for the same position. So that is the advantage Raila might have. But the reason as to why I think Raila might get this position is the influence by Chris Coons. You know who Chris Coons is? I told you. That's Raila's handler. Chris Coons. AU is a baby, is a baby that came out of EU. It's controlled by the West. Actually, let me play a clip so you can understand. Now we are pivoting into what AU is, that position, what it means. Does it really have any influence in Africa as it's meant to be? Let's look at that, because that's where Raila is going. So let's look at that. What is AU? How does it? Let's hear somebody, one of the African giants, and I'm not talking about that's a Nigerian musician. I'm talking about Robert Mugabe said something about AU. Can we listen to what he has to say? Because I think it was very, very, very interesting. Let's get to it. Let's hear Robert Mugabe say something about it. It's a short clip. It's like a 1 minute, 2 minute speech that that Mugabe spoke about on AU, African Union. African Union, in my opinion, from what I've gathered, African Union has no teeth or bite, to be honest with you. But I'll let Mugabe talk about African Union so you can get an understanding. It's a good plum position which will benefit. It's good for Raila, but Raila will not have any influence in Kenyan local politics. Let me just say that, okay? It's a good position to have. It comes with, you know, to talk, well, you're a VIP, they treat you, you know, like a VIP. But when it comes to its impact on these member states of African Union, AU is not effective. They actually take their orders from the European Union. And you know who controls the European Union? You don't know? United States. You know, go just watch it. Just look at that war in Ukraine. See how they're taking orders from United States. What is NATO? Okay. So, but let me not take you there before I take you there. Let's just listen to our great leader, African giant. I call them African giant. This gentleman who is called. Please like the video if you're looking at this. Like the video. Don't forget to like the video. Like the video. Share, like, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Let me play you this from Mugabe so you can hear what Mugabe says about AU when he was speaking some years back. Okay. Are you guys ready? Let's educate ourselves so we can learn something. It will be a good position for Raila individually, but AU itself, like I say, Raila politically in Kenya will be done. He won't have any influence, okay? He will not have any influence, okay, at all. Maybe if he comes one time, because let me tell you something. The reason why I say that, it's a diplomatic position. As a diplomat, you cannot come back to your country and say, I'm supporting Joho. Joho ran for president. That will be unbecoming because you're actually undermining Ruto. And remember, Ruto has to put Raila's name to the pool where they will have to vote for Raila. Okay? So Raila needs the support of who? Ruto. So when Raila becomes the AU chairperson, for example, he hasn't got a job yet, but when he becomes the chairperson, there's no way Raila can come back and endorse Martha Karua or endorse an opposition, because that will be basically atakuwa ni kama madarao the Ruto's position. He's not respecting, he's undermining President Ruto's position, because now he's a diplomat who is representing Africa as a whole. He cannot come back to Kenya and say, now I'm endorsing Ruto, now I'm endorsing Kalonzo, now I'm endorsing Joho, now I'm endorsing Sijui Nani, because it will be like undermining the current sitting president of Kenya, okay? And he cannot do that, because that will be like what? That will be like stabbing Ruto at the back after I recommended you to become the AU chairperson. Now you become this diplomat and you come back home and, you know, unachagua mtu. It's like now you want to take me out after I gave you this job, basically, you know, recommended that you get this job. So let me play what Mugabe had to say about this. Ladies and gentlemen, like the video, share, like the video and share. Don't forget, do that. Please like the video. Like the video, and if you haven't subscribe. Let me play Mugabe here so we can get some understanding, contextualize what I'm talking about as to the effect of AU. All right, let's see here.
Supposed to be.
If I can enlarge it, that will be wonderful. Let's see.
Supposed to be free. There are 54 countries. We come to the United Nations, it's ceremonial. Every year, September, we are there. We pay lots of money to go there. And to the General Assembly, we make speeches, we go back home, year in, year out. But the bosses in the Security Council say, you shall never have the powers that we have as permanent members. And we have asked and asked and asked. And asked and asked. Reform the Security Council.
You heard what he said. They in the UN, they have permanent members of the UN, which is the US, British, England, and some other countries. Okay, Germany, the original founders. Okay, but there's no African country that has permanent is a permanent member of the UN Security Council. They want it to be as a whole unit, AU, to be the part of it. And Mugabe was making the point: there's no way you can say we are part of it and you cannot afford us the same privileges that you have, which is permanent resident. There's no one African country that has no position in the permanent as a permanent member of the UN. UN is a polarized, highly politicized organization. Okay, I show you in the book that I was reading. Part of the UN, these permanent members of the Security Council, like the US, what they do to small countries like Kenya, once they take over, they put their stooges there. Okay, when there's a issue that is brought in front of the UN, let's say, like, remember when the US actually brought the motion to sanction Russia. Okay, they will go to these small countries that they actually have influence over. For example, like Kenya. And they will tell the president, hey, listen, we will provide you with X, Y, and Z, but you have to make sure that you vote according to how we want. And that's why, if you don't remember, Ruto voted for the UN to apply sanctions on Russia when the war with the Ukraine started. It was under the pressure from the US. They told them, because the US told them, hey, listen, you have debt from the IMF. Remember, IMF is basically an INEO for the US. Okay, let's not fumble around. That's why you see a lot of these countries now. Egypt just announced that they're dumping the dollar. That's another news altogether. But I'm just giving an example. For all these small countries that are heavily influenced, that has debt, World Bank, IMF debt, and implementing these policies that actually are forcing the wananchi to pay high taxes, like Kenya. Usually when the motion is brought in front of the UN, like the one to apply sanctions for Russia, Russia's conflict with Ukraine, the US told Ruto, hey, listen, Kenya, you have to vote with us to actually apply sanctions to Russia. But of course, you see, the sanctions didn't really matter to Russia, because Putin is another level, okay? Putin doesn't. In fact, it actually helped Russia economically. It actually had. But let me play what Mugabe was saying. I want you to pay attention to what Mugabe was saying about EAU and how powerless and toothless African Union is. For example, the whole, the coup d'etat that was happening in three countries. They couldn't do nothing about it. But let's just hear from Mugabe. Mugabe, you say what you want about Mugabe, who wasn't an angel, but Mugabe was a freedom fighter. He helped in the kicking out the British, even though, his people, some section of Zimbabwe didn't like him, but Mugabe was a Pan-Africanism. His credential as a Pan-African cannot be disputed. But let me continue with the video so you can get actually what I'm trying to talk about when he is talking about UN and AU. And he's actually spelling it African hard.
The 54 countries supposed to be free. The 54 countries we come to the United Nations. It's ceremonial. Every year, September, we are there. We pay lots of money to go there. And to the General Assembly, we make speeches. We go back home, year in, year out. But the bosses in the Security Council say, you shall never have the powers that we have as permanent members. And we have asked and asked and asked. And asked and asked. Reform the Security Council. I want to tell you, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, you are a good man. You are a good man. But of course, we can't make you a fighter. That's not what your mission was. We will fight a fight for our own identity, for our own integrity and personality as Africans. We are Africans.
All right. You get the gist of it. Listen, Mugabe was not the only African leader that actually talked about African Union and how African Union was toothless and powerless. Thomas Sankara, Idi Amin, even he headed that. What's his name? Gaddafi. All these great African leaders, throughout the years, they've talked about how useless the African Union is, how the African Union take its orders from the EU, the Western governments, okay? Basically the EU and the US, okay? So, like I said, the African Union is basically used by the West to manage, okay? Since the West people, the colonizers, okay? They don't want to directly manage your affairs. They created this body called African Union to actually do that. So, for example, the Congo is in chaos right now. Congo is in chaos. The M23, they're supported by Rwanda in northern Congo. The Chinese are there. The Europeans are there. The Belgians have never left. The Americans are there with all this Blackwater, Bancroft, these mercenary groups that are there that are forcing people kids to dig for this cobalt and copper and gold, and all this stuff is happening. Where is African Union? If the African Union was actually effective, they could have gathered around, had army from all the member states and help free Congo from the looting, the genocide that's happening right now. Do you know how many people have died in Congo? More people have died in Congo than that Hitler killed in Europe. The Jews that died in Europe. They say the Jews, they lost 6 million Jews. In Congo right now, it's 7 million. And some numbers are telling us it's even 10 million, with another 6 or 7 million displaced children, women, okay? The rapes and murder that's happening today, nobody's talking about, but everyone is busy talking about Ukraine. I'm not saying that we shouldn't be talking about Ukraine or the atrocities in Gaza, but I'm just saying, why is it that always when something happened, when the war was happening in Ukraine, okay, everyone was feeling sorry for Ukraine and all that stuff, okay? The Ukrainians were being shipped around, we were helping them, the people who were running away, they were fleeing Ukraine. There was so much attention in Ukraine displaced families, okay? And again, Gaza is happening right now. Israel is bombing the crap out of Gaza, Palestinians, okay? Everyone is saying, oh, free Palestine, free Palestine. But when it comes to Congo, no one is speaking about Congo, okay? When it comes to Africa, nobody's speaking. Congo genocide is happening right now, today. In fact, did you see in London? Okay, there was a protest in London about the Congo genocide that's happening. Where is the African Union? Okay, this is what the questioning is. But it's a perfect example that illustrates that African Union is only used by the Europeans to manage the affairs of the Africans. Okay, Europeans have great interest in Congo. Okay, that's why they're not calling for the African Union to go to stabilize the situation in Congo, because it is the same Europeans, the Belgians, the Americans, the French, even the Chinese are in there, okay, that are extracting minerals, corporations that are hired, mercenaries, Blackwater, Bancroft, all these deadly mercenaries, okay, that are killing innocent children, okay, the rapes, the genocide, all that's happening, but nobody is speaking about that, and CNN is not saying anything about NBC, BBC, Sky News is not mentioning that because these very news corporations are tied in with multinational corporations that are actually extracting minerals from Congo. That's why you never hear anything about Congo. But if it's something like to do with Ukraine, okay, when Russia is actually have destroyed, not destroyed, but have taken over Ukraine, basically, they've won the fight there. Nobody is mentioning there because it is not in their interest, okay? When Putin is winning, they're anti-Putin, okay? So Putin is winning, so they want to portray Putin as the next Hitler, okay? But in Congo. But anyway, I'm just illustrating to you that the AU, African Union, as I've said, Mugabe already talked about it, how useless it is. Thomas Sankara spoke about how useless it is. Idi Amin, like him or not, spoke about how useless it is. This is not a great position for any country. So it will be a wonderful position for Raila Odinga to actually become the chairperson of the AU as an individual. Individually, it's a personal goal. It's a personal win for him, okay, to go and become an African Union chairperson, whatever the case is. But it is not a victory for Kenya. It is not. On Kenya Kwanza part, you can look at it and say, this is a great way for Ruto to get rid of his major nemesis, okay? Keep him busy. Give that mzee some job so he can be busy, okay? So that's not a problem. And the reason why, again, like I said, the reason why I say Raila Odinga will most likely get that position is because his connection with Chris Coons. I've been saying this. Raila Odinga is a CIA asset, has been for a long time. Most people don't agree with me, but it is what it is. You might disagree. You can come in. The guy has been working for CIA for a long time. That's explained his ties with Chris Coons. Remember, Chris Coons is the person who actually brought together the handshake between him and Uhuru Kenyatta. And after he came into that handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta, guess what happened? He got that job for as a AU infrastructure something, okay? Remember that when he was given that AU job as an infrastructure head of the infrastructure of Africa, okay, where he was flying around, he was actually involved in the negotiation between Bagbo of Ivory Coast. Remember that before they took out Bagbo, Bagbo was actually elected by the people, but he was taken out in order to install the French puppet that Raila actually helped to negotiate that deal when he was the head of infrastructure. Again, you see what I'm saying. You see the trend. Every time Chris Coons was in negotiation with Uhuru Kenyatta, to have that handshake, okay? And after the handshake, Raila Odinga was given that position, okay? Now, Chris Coons, remember, Chris Coons also met Ruto not so long ago, okay? And after meeting Ruto, there was that meeting with Obasanjo and all these clowns, okay? Then after that, guess what happens? Raila now is running for the AU job. Isn't that a coincidence? Isn't that a coincidence? That's why I keep on telling you. And again, as I explained to you, AU has been the organization that's been used by the EU, okay, European Union, and the Americans, the Western governments, okay, to micromanage Africa, okay? So if there's a position, let's say Somali is also a hotspot, okay? The Americans are heavily involved in the chaos in Somalia, okay? You even had Putin say 95% of the world's terrorism is CIA is behind that, okay? Somalia is no exception, okay? In fact, the whole guerrillas and those people who are fighting in there, most of them are being funded by the US, okay? And that's why now you'll see AU in places like that, okay? You never see them actually do something meaningful. That's why I'm saying Raila, it makes sense. If you look at all these things, it makes sense. It's coming together. Raila Odinga is carrying out the job of his masters. What is good you're saying? There's a British family passed down through the family owning a huge part of Congo for mining. Thank you. Yes, I'm telling you, if you go look at the history of Congo and Angola, these two, actually Angola used to be part of the Congo kingdom, if you go way back, okay? But Angola and Congo, my friend, the atrocities that has been, that those people have suffered in the hands of Europeans, the Belgians, the English, the British, oh my God, it will make Hitler look like a church boy. It will make Hitler look like a church boy. The atrocities that happen, the murderous behavior, people being beheaded. Remember when they used to cut their hand when they didn't provide enough rubber during King Leopold. What is his name? Leopold, the king of that evil king from Belgium. I mean, the history goes deep. Congo has suffered for a lot. If there's any African country that have suffered, in fact, there's a say, I heard from my Congolese friend. He said, there's a say that Congo is cursed with wealth, and they're saying they're cursed because God gave them all these natural resources, but by giving them all these natural resources, it actually brought all these countries, especially from the West, that has caused all this chaos. Everyone want to mooch off the Congolese. Congo is the richest country in the world as far as natural resources. Okay? The richest in the world as far as the natural, the cobalt that's used to, make these cell phones and all that stuff. Okay? Why do you think even Elon Musk and his company, and what's the other company that are in quotes right now for the production of colt in Congo? They're tied in that case. There's a case going on which Elon Musk has to answer in, which has to do with the Congo situation. Okay, so yes, so that's what I'm saying. There's so much happening, but to my point, AU is going to be a victory for Raila himself, not for Kenya as a whole. Okay, so I understand why the Azimio head honchos are meeting and they're saying they're congratulating Raila to take this place. Yes, they're happy because now it gives a playing field for them to actually go against Ruto. But this is, let me tell you this. This is a guarantee victory for 2027 re-election of William Samoei Arap Ruto. I'll repeat it so you can listen to it. This move by Raila is a guarantee win for the presidential re-election of 2027 presidential election. Re-election of William Samoei Ruto. This is a guarantee. Hakuna hata kubishana. Hakuna. That deal has been made. Now, let me mess up with your mind for a minute, okay? Can I ask you this question, okay? Let me ask you this question, okay? Let me ask you this question. And I want you to answer it honestly, because hapa tudanganyani. You can come in. You can come in if you want. I'll put the link if you want me to come in. Let me ask you this question, okay? If William Samoei Ruto agreed to sit with Raila Odinga to have some sort of arrangement, let's call it handshake, okay? Does the fact that William Samoei, President William Ruto, the fact that he sat down with Raila Odinga for this handshake, does that not actually, in otherwise, confirms that maybe he did not win the elections fair and square? Because if you want fair and square, why should you sit down with William Ruto? In 2017, let me take you back. In 2017, Kenyatta sat with Raila Odinga for the handshake. Kenyatta had more reasons to sit with Raila Odinga than Raila Odinga had to sit with Kenyatta, because Kenyatta had more to lose. He had lost an election. He lacked the legitimacy. Okay, so he needed the handshake. Okay, for him to get that legitimacy from Raila Odinga. And we all know Kenyatta did not. Uhuru Kenyatta did not win the election in 2017. Raila won. And even Raila was sworn in by the people. So it was in Kenyatta's best interest to sit down with William Ruto, to sit down with Raila Odinga in order to get some sense of legitimacy, okay? Because he could not govern. Everyone was done. Everyone said, Akuna, Kenyatta cannot go on. We are done. We are actually going to appisha Raila. And they appished Raila. And there's no way Uhuru Kenyatta could actually rule from then. He had to get Raila Odinga to sit down with him to legitimize his presidency. So here I ask again, and I ask this question. Does the fact that Ruto agreed to sit down with Raila Odinga for these negotiations in Mombasa with Olesegun and Hassan Joho and Suluhu and everybody else, does that imply that maybe Ruto did not win the elections? What do you think? What do you think? Why would you, if you won the election, why sit down to negotiate with the loser? Why? That is a question that I would like you to answer. Why? Why sit with somebody who you actually defeated? Why? Okay? If you won the election, you don't sit with somebody who lost the election. In other news, by the way, I just read that Okiya Omtata almost was involved in an accident. Hopefully he's okay. I saw that message and I was kind of, worried a little bit because Okiya Omtata has been a stalwart in you. But that is the question I want you to ponder on. Okay? Huyu jamaa alishinda elections, right? Why did he sit with Nani? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, like the video. Come on, like saizi. If you're watching it, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If it is your first time here and you don't know anything about this family, this channel, go ahead and like it. Subscribe, like. Na kama uja like, ukitaka kuingia studio nitakuwekea link hapo, ingie kwa studio, tuongee maneno. How do you think about this AU? There's somebody who was not happy about this AU nonsense, and I will play his video. Are you ready? Because there are some people who felt, and I asked these questions the last time. I said, hey, where does that leave those people who actually were very, because I want to learn something. Let's go to Miguna's tweets. I think Miguna has something very, very, very interesting here that he was saying in his tweets. Let's go to Miguna. Miguna has something to say. He was exposing Raila Odinga. Because actually, the reason why I say that is, where does this leave the people who are behind Raila Odinga, who are hoping, that they will actually take over, go to remove Zakayo, as they say. They were going to remove Zakayo. What happened to that? Whatever happened to Zakayo, removing Zakayo? Where did that happen? We shall see. Miguna actually is telling us something here. I'll go to his tweets so we can actually read it and see what he says. And I will read it for you. For those who have read, if you want to join the studio, just let me know. I'll drop you the link and you can get the studio and discuss what we are talking about. Let's read Miguna's tweets. Miguna's tweets. I know he's not the biggest fan of Raila Odinga for all the reasons that you know their history. Okay, so let's see. Let's see here. Here's Miguna. All right. Here is what Miguna wrote a few hours ago. All right. An hour ago, he wrote, Conman Raila Odinga should become the chairman of the Sakwa Clan Council of Elders, period. Okay. That's funny, though. That's funny. So, Conman Raila Odinga should become the chairman of the Sakwa Clan Council of Elders, period. Mr. Willis Ochieng, don't call me period. Can't stand alone. It's called artistic license. All right. Okay. He responds to Professor Olekiapi. Okay. Professor Olekiapi wrote, I support Honorable Raila Odinga for offering himself to serve at AU top position. He has the stature, global recognition, democratic credentials, and vast experience to shift Africa's focus to where the continent should be. EAC should support his candidature with unanimity. Okay. Then Miguna wrote, quit psychophancy, professor. The con man should retire and pet his grandchildren. Africans need to get serious. We don't need semi-literate, incoherent, senile con man to sleep at continental meetings when the world left Africa behind millenniums ago. Okay, Miguna is yeah. Okay. Okay, so here's the interesting one that I wanted you to share with you. Can you see the screen? Can you see the screen? All right, this one is the one that I wanted you guys to actually see. He wrote, meaning of conman, and this is actually raises good questions, all right? In quotation, what Raila Odinga said, I don't recognize Ruto as president. He stole my victory. I'll fight until I retrieve my victory. That was in August 2022. That is what Raila Odinga said in August 27. He said what? I don't recognize Ruto as president. He stole my victory. I'll fight until I retrieve my victory. That is in August 2022, okay? Then in October 22, he said, Ruto must go, okay? Then in January 2023, the same Raila Odinga said, President William Ruto and I support the creation of the position of the official opposition. That is January 2023. In February 2024, the same Raila Odinga writes, I want President William Ruto to help me become the chairman of AU. So basically, he's trying to say, Raila went from, I don't recognize Ruto as a president, he stole my victory, I'll fight until I retrieve my victory, to saying, I want President William Ruto to help me become the chairman of AU. So, so he's actually, he's bringing it to light. The question I actually ask my friends from the Azimio side. Let me make it clear. I'm not Kenya Kwanza. I'm not Azimio. I'm just somebody who looks something. I'm not affiliated with any political affiliation, okay? I'm just looking at it to find the truth in the middle. But I ask my friends, those who went to Mandamano, the staunch Raila supporters, who now I see on other channels are actually clapping their hands saying, it's good. I think I'm happy for Raila. Raila has fought for this country. He's finally getting a position for him. It's just, the Kenyans didn't, they didn't cherish him. They didn't appreciate him. So it's good that he's having this position for him and his family. But I asked this question, when he called upon you as a supporter to go to the streets, because remember, he told you that his victory was taken from him. He asked you to join him in Mandamano so that he can recapture his victory, okay? So he can make Zakayo come down. That is what he told us, okay? So that the Garama of Maisha can come down. He wanted there's something akin to the Kofi Annan Accord. That is what he told us. He wanted to go to State House to reclaim his stolen victory. Where did that happen? Where did that stop? What happened to those 10 million signatures that we were collecting in order to remove Zakayo? What happened to secession, where we said we are going to remove ourselves from the rest of the Kenya? What happened to all of that? Those are the questions that you, as a follower of Azimio, should go ask Raila Odinga. I'm not saying I'll support him or whatever. I can care less whether Raila becomes the president of UN or whatever the case is. But I think he owes you that answer. You should answer. He should have a press conference and floor these questions that maybe some strong supporters have for Raila Odinga. Ladies and gentlemen, like the video. Like. Share, like. I'm about to go in. Like the video. Like the video. Like. Now on Apple, let me read some comments here. Like I say, yes, please like the video, share, comment, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. What are you waiting for? Hapa tunaongea siasa. Hapa si mambo ya kusijui kupiga makelele hapa na kutukanana. Like the video na share and you can get it. Niwapatie link. Okay, I'll throw the link just in case if you want to be going. Naona watu wengine maybe wanaweza kusema ujamaa naongea tu and there's no way we can actually come back to that. But so anyway, I've explained to you how AU works, who actually funds the African Union, who actually dictates the action of African Union, how it works, and who's the real powers behind it. Mugabe told you who are the real powers behind AU. And if you look at the AU, even the Sahel groups, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, that actually their first order of business was to kick out the French, take control of their resources, and they moved out of the ECOWAS, okay? They moved out of AU. They're not part of AU. They're not part of the ECOWAS. They're not part of nothing. They're actually starting their own Sahel Confederation, okay? Without the help of AU, without the help of ECOWAS, without the help of any Western-controlled organization, such as AU and all that stuff, ECOWAS and all that. Those are all European-controlled organizations. And these Sahel people, Ibrahim Traore and all the other generals, they kicked out these people and they took control of their own resources. And right now, those three countries are the fastest growing economies in the world. Fastest, okay? They're finally building a gold refinery in their own country. They don't have to ship the gold to France to be processed and to buy it back. No. They've cut out the French. They've cut out the Americans. They've cut out the Europeans. They've said, no. We have to stand by ourselves on our 2 feet, okay? There's a revolution happening in Africa. And like I say, it starts with the Sahel nation. And South Africa are busy taking everyone in court. So there's something. We are making progress. But as far as AU is concerned, as I mentioned, AU is a puppet of the West. Is controlled by the West, is financed by the West, is handpicked by the West. And Raila is handpicked by the West through Chris Coons. I mentioned again, last time Raila had a handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta, it was midwifed by Chris Coons. Remember, Chris Coons was this guy who is a freaking senator for, not Wisconsin, Delaware, okay? A fucking CIA guy, okay? This guy is the one who actually made that handshake happen. He negotiated that handshake between Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. And soon after the handshake was finished, Raila was appointed the AU infrastructural bullshit, okay? Then this time, Chris Coons meets Ruto again, okay? And midwives another, he's the conduit for this discussion. He brokered this discussion between Raila and Ruto and Olesegun and all the other factions, okay? Then, after this handshake that now we're learning about, that Olesegun actually told us happened in Mombasa, here it is. Raila Odinga is going to get another AU job again as the AU head after Chris Coons negotiates for him. That's why I'm telling you, Chris Coons, being an agent of the West, has helped these guys negotiate for a handshake. Now Raila is going to become the AU whatever. That's why I'm saying Raila is going to win it. Is going to get that position because that position was created and the person who chairs it is handpicked by the West. Handpicked, okay? So Ruto will recommend him and Raila will get it. And once Raila gets it, for all you Azimio ODM people, let me tell you, officially, Raila has retired from local politics. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, share, like. First, take a minute right now. Take a minute. I'm giving you a minute. Kabla sijaendelea. Tafadhali, like this video. Like this video if you're watching. Ladies and gentlemen, like it. Like it. Everyone like it right now. Like it. Na kabla uja subscribe saizi. And share it. Share it with your friends. Next time, I want you, when you come in with your friends so we can discuss this issue. If you have any inside information about Raila Odinga or William Ruto or anybody else on the happenings between these guys, come here so we can discuss. Ingieni, like right now. I'm giving you 1 minute so you can like the video. While you do so, I'll play your video. Okay? While you do so, I'm going to play your video. Pale mnaendelea. Sawa. Endeleeni. I'm waiting for you to like. Bado sioni malike hapo. Hebu jaribu tafadhali. Zidi kulike. I'm about to finish up, okay? But before I do, please like and share. If you haven't subscribe, okay? Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, it is Friday. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for watching. I would like to thank everyone. Eugene Gumbe Apple. I would like to thank Goodia as usual. I would like to thank Brother Benson for stopping by. Everybody that's watching. Everyone up there now. It's actually, I had a high view that I even thought. So thank you very much. I might jump in another in another platform if they have something going on. But that's all I wanted to talk about today. Tomorrow, join me, same time, same place, depending on whether Chelsea defeats Manchester City, which is going to be a horrible. It will be a very a game that I'm not looking forward to, but I'll have to watch it. But anyway, I would like to thank you, everyone that has watched. Thank you, Goodia. Thank you so much for being, my assistant here. Official, I should be paying you. Thank you for watching. For everyone who's watching, please make sure you like this video and share it with your friends. I want you guys to be here next time, okay? When you join the studio tuongee, okay? We can have this discussion hapa. Toa maoni yako. This is free for all. This is not just me, unaweza kuingia hapa na utoe maoni yako, or you can just toa maoni yako hapo kwa comment. I'll highlight it, I'll read it, and I'll respond, okay? Goodia is saying poor Chelsea. I know, tunaenda kichinjio kesho, but that's okay. We shall see. But join me tomorrow. Like this and share. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. My name is Kenya Revolutionary. You can follow me on X. My name is also Kenya Revolutionary or K Revolutionary at X, formerly known as Twitter. Unaweza kunipata hapo. Tafadhali nifuate na hapa pia. Make sure you like and subscribe. Subscribe now, like. Jamani, what can I do? It's so easy. Unafanya mkono inaenda hivyo tu. Pop, and you get it. My name is Kenya Revolutionary. Again, I will invite you every day. You can come here and we can talk. Sawa? Aya basi. Shukran kabisa. Shukran Goodia. Shukran Gumbe. Shukran Brother Benson. Shukran everybody else has been watching. It's been a pleasure. It's been 1 hour, 16 minutes. I have to sign out. It's Friday. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to you and yours. Thank you so much. So much. We'll discuss next time the happenings of Kenyan politics, or like I say, politics. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, and comrades, it's been a pleasure. My name is Kenya Revolutionary. I have to sign out. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you and peace.